What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chucky from Sugar Earth Media, and today we're taking a look at Dark Winds Season 2. The first episode just premiered at AMC Plus, and it will premiere Sunday on cable. I was a big fan of the first season. I did episode-by-episode breakdowns. It's a great detective show with a great setting. It takes place in the 70s. It's a period piece on the Navajo Reserve. So we got the interesting desert setting. It looks visually stunning. We got an interesting cultural aspect with, of course, the Dene people and their culture represented on the show. And we also have the noir style storytelling with the twists and turns and the shady corruption going on behind the scenes. So it's a really nice mixture of storytelling that makes for really good television. It's pretty good. I gave the first season, I think, an 8 out of 10. And this first episode shows a strong start for the second season. I'm really looking forward to checking out the rest of it. Of course, Leaphorn and Chee are the main characters, and they are the heart of the show, and the cast members are amazing on the show. And that's really the best thing about it, is the chemistry between them. So the whole show wouldn't work if there wasn't that great connection between Leaphorn and Chee. And we also have Bernadette on the screen. I believe she wasn't a character in the books. It's based off a series of books that I haven't read, to be honest, but they're a popular series. But this is a new character, Bernadette, and she's actually one of my favorite characters as well. So we have 3 great cast members, and this episode sets up a new mystery. We got a group called the People of Darkness, and they're a mysterious kind of group cult, maybe, that is into kind of spiritual stuff, and they're predicting things. But there's something shady going on behind the scenes with them. They're being accused of stealing something. People connected to them have been showing up dead. So this is, of course, on a reserve where not many murders and violence happen. So anytime it does happen, it's a big deal. And of course, it seems like, based on last season and this one, things are only heating up. So it's really good, strong start to the season. It's an action-packed episode with a lot of great cinematography and a lot of great character moments. There's little nitpicks along the way, things I can attack, but other than that, pretty strong first episode. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And with that, we're going to break into the breakdown. But let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you want me to cover more episodes of this series. Maybe I'll do shorts, maybe I'll cover it at the end of the season. Let me know what you guys think. I will respond to the engagement from the viewers. So we start off with kind of a flash forward. I thought it might be a flashback at first, but it's definitely in the future further down in the season. And I think they did a pretty brilliant thing here with the color palette. Of course, we have a black and white scene here, and then there are certain objects that are colored. So the trailer, at the light of it was yellow, that was colored in. We got this weird doll thing that's blue, and blue is also associated with these wires that he's using to make bombs. So this is the villain here. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that we see at the end of the episode, so it's not like we're gonna get a big surprise about who the actual villain is. We see him right from the jump, but of course there might be twists and turns along the way, as there was last season. We saw the true villain of the season, the FBI guy, really exposed at the end of last season. So there's definitely going to be twists along the way, but I thought it was an action-packed opening. It was a nice thriller scene. You know, it was definitely an exciting scene, and I want to see what happens, man. But I think we're going to have to wait through a lot of the season to get there. So we start off with Leaphorn. Leaphorn and Chee, they don't see each other until the end of the episode, so we have Leaphorn on his own. And even on his own, he can hold the show, because it's a great actor and a great character. And we're seeing him here in his farm, you know, taking care of his animals. And, you know, at this moment, I'm like, did he retire from being a police officer? But of course he didn't. So, and here we got, of course, Mrs. Leaphorn is a nurse. She works at a clinic. And here's a guy who got his fingers bit off by a sheep. Now, he's very much a stereotypical kind of stoner comedy character. And it's a little over the top. I did think it was funny. I was amused by him, and I know that there's going to be some twists where he's involved in the story somehow, but I think they played it up a bit too much for comedy. It just came off a little bit stereotypical and cheesy, I suppose. But you know what? It's just a little bit of humor injected into the show. It's mostly a pretty serious show, so you need a little bit of that. So I will take it. That she takes him to the hospital. And then on her way, she almost runs into the guy who we saw at the beginning and the end. He's right here. This is him. And then she almost runs into him here. And, of course, she probably should have seen him, but we got to have them cross paths. He's putting gloves on, so there's something shady going on there. She looks out the window and sees an old guy walking to his car, and they smile at each other. And then the explosion goes off. There's a car bomb in there. And the CGI is not great, so that's continuing the trend from the previous season. But it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, there's a better explosion at the end of the episode that I think is actually practical effects. But given how many cars are in the area, you can't really do an actual explosion in this situation here. So I can understand why they would go with the CGI. And here we got the woman who was pregnant last season, and she was in the house with the crazy witch lady. She is still living with them. It looks like kind of their surrogate daughter, so to speak. She's carrying the baby. She's the one delivering the message to Leaphorn that his wife is in the hospital. So she got the phone call, and that's pretty much just kind of put her in the episode so we remember that she exists, and because she's not in the rest of the episode. They found a way to put her in some way naturally. Makes sense to me. We got the scene in the hospital, and a new police officer character comes in, and then they're investigating the scene, and I love to see Leaphorn in his element. He's really smart and observant, and he's the guy who picks up on the fact that it's actually a car bomb. And right before he starts investigating, we see that he spreads the I forget what it's called, but he's got this like charm herbs that he spreads. It's a cultural thing, and he's trying to keep the demons away. And of course, with the supernatural stuff we saw last season, I had mixed feelings about them including supernatural elements, but with that, it kind of adds a little bit more authenticity to him doing that. It's not just the cultural beliefs. It's actually there is supernatural things going on. So I'm curious to see if they will apply that in any way this season. So I love this investigating scene. And of course, we also learn that the guy who was blown up was connected to the people of darkness, and the guy's brother predicted in advance about the explosion that killed Leaphorn's son, Joe Jr. So that explosion, that was a big theme last season, was the death of his son. It definitely challenged the relationship with him and his wife, and that seems to be continuing this season as well. So we're going to get to the root of that mystery. So that's really the hook for the rest of the season, is Leaphorn needs to find out what happened to his son. So that's a great hook, and at the end we get a clue that directly links Joe's son here. So I think that's really the hook that's going to drive the rest of the season, and I love it. So this is one scene. Some of the scenes between Leaphorn and his wife just kind of last season felt a little stale. There's something off about it. I don't know if it's Mrs. Leaphorn's performance or the writing. Something's just, I can't exactly put my finger on what it is. It just doesn't feel right. But she wants to have another ceremony to get rid of the bad vibes, and whatnot, the bad spirits. And Joe is not about it because they did a lot of that last season. So he's like, if it was up to you, we would never leave that. It's kind of hard to really feel that strongly either way about this. But there's tension there between them. I guess that's the point. So now we got Bernadette. A guy stole a horse, and she's tracking him down, and she's going to be late to this meeting. Leaphorn comes in, and he's leading the investigation, telling people what to do. I'm not sure what is going to happen with this part of the storyline. So the guy who stole a horse, she locks up. I love what Bernadette says to him, like grow brain and stuff. I like Bernadette a lot. She's a really good character in the humor that she adds to the show as well. is really good. But I'm not sure if that story element was necessary, but I guess maybe it's setting up for something down the line. We'll have to see. And then we got the stoner guy coming back. That's funny. And here we got Chee showing up in the episode for the first time, and he was sleeping with a woman in a hotel, and there's photos hanging over that he was developing, I'm guessing. I don't know what that's related to, but she leaves a message on the mirror, and doesn't leave her full phone number. So I don't know if that was a mistake or she's just like lying to him or something. But she says Tim instead of Jim, so there obviously wasn't a deep connection there. So he's womanizing, so to speak. And here we got the villain, a really weird scene here where he's looking for somebody, and we keep getting close-ups of the guy he's talking to, really close up on the mouth. I don't know if this is supposed to be like the villain's perspective, just kind of viewing this guy like a specimen, and he ends up killing him at the end of the scene. So he gives him money for finding the person, and he seems to be acting sketchy about it. Not kind of cagey, not really answering the question. So I don't know exactly what the motivation is behind the murder, but he comes into the bathroom and shoots the guy. My only nitpick here is, why didn't anybody hear the gunshot? Now, he did press the hand drying machine to cover the sound, but I don't think that would cover up a gunshot. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I feel like a gunshot would be way louder, but I don't know. Maybe not. But anyways, that's a small nitpick at the end of the day. So here we got Leaphorn looking for somebody's dad. I'm assuming it's related to the guy. It's the son of the guy who got blown up, I think, but he's not home. But the grandchild is here, and they speak in their native language a little bit, which I love to see as well. So we got the old lady here, an old lady who asked Chee to investigate who was stealing some crops from her, and it turned out it was her nephew. And this scene is really just to show the whole purpose of this scene here is just to give you a hint of what Chee's up to now. So he's not a police officer; he's just private investigating, and he didn't end up deciding to join the police force. And I'm assuming we'll get into why he made that choice later down the line, which I'm curious to see. Was it the fact that his relationship with Bernadette kind of got a little icy, or what aspect of it made him want to avoid that? Maybe he just still is in the mindset that he kind of wants to leave the reserve, or I don't know. I'm confused by it, but I'm sure we'll get deeper into that as we go. But the purpose of this scene, other than that, is to show Chee's change in character. So he was a bit he was a bit he was a city boy. He was trying to do big things with the FBI, but now that betrayal happened and he's now humbled by that whole experience, he is not just in it for money. So the lady doesn't have a lot of money to give him, and she takes off her ring and gives it to Chee, and he gives it back and says, just let me know, if you need help with anything. So that's to show generosity on his part, that it's not just about money or anything shallow like that. He genuinely wants to help at this point. So it's to show the change in character. I like that part. So Chee is a likable character. I think they did a good job with his arc last season. Him turning on his FBI friends. Friends at the end of the day. So here we get the next big case for your boy Chee, and he enters this house, and it's filled with items and rugs from the Dene tribe, kind of tourist trap stuff. And it's a white lady. So I don't know if her husband is also a white man. So I don't know what about that. But they're surrounded by the tribal paraphernalia, for lack of a better word. So we got rugs, we got all these items on the walls, and of course it's a nice house. So we see that they're well off. So I'm really curious about this character. And it is played by Jerry Ryan of 7 of 9 fame from Star Trek. So love to see her always. We're introduced to her. She's carrying an oxygen tank and smoking a cigarette. So that's definitely symbolic. Somebody who is addicted to vices, even when it's killing her. And also is somebody who is looks for risk in life. It's of course risky to be smoking with an oxygen tank attached to you. Those can explode. They tell you not to smoke nearby them. So she is definitely a shady person. She's not straight up answering any of the questions. So there's a box that was stolen. She says it was the people of darkness who did it. It kind of turns out later on that a guy that Chee was talking to later says that her and her husband are the people of darkness. So there's something that we don't understand yet. She doesn't explain what's in it other than it's supposedly medicine or something like that. So she's not answering his questions straight up. She says, "You don't need to know everything. You just need to give me the box back." He knows something's up with it, but he's going to give it a shot. And here we got Bernadette bringing the stoner guy back. He's saying that he got bit by an alien, but it was actually a sheep. And then there's a piece of some type of airplane from the Air Force nearby. He thought it was an alien. Like I said, it's a stereotype. You know, it's definitely over the top. I don't think just because somebody smokes some weed that they would just hallucinate like that or just think that they hallucinated. But it turns out it wasn't really a hallucination because we immediately see this weird looking sheep. It looks like, I don't know, satanic or something. It looks messed up. Something weird about the horn sticking straight up. You know what I mean? There's something off-putting about it. And she brings it into the police station, which I think is funny. So here we got Chee interrogating this guy who supposedly was witness stealing the box. And he kind of admits to it after Chee says he's not with the police, he just wants the box back. He ends up drawing a map for Chee of where the box is. He left it for somebody, I believe it was a family member. But like I said, there's some contradictory things going on with who the people of darkness are. He's saying that this guy is saying he's not a part of the people of darkness, and it kind of insinuates that the woman is. So there's something weird going on. And then Leaphorn happens to show up because, of course, the guy's house earlier that he's trying to talk to, that's the guy that Chee was talking to. So they end up crossing paths, and the chemistry between them is so perfect, and they're instantly, joking back and forth. Chee says, "You borrowed a sense of humor," which I really love that part. And there's this trust and bond between them already from last season, so they're instantly just kind of working together now. Their paths crossed on this case, and now they're working together. So I love this conversation in the car is my favorite part of the episode. And it's just because it's just the two characters that I like. Great acting, great writing, and just joking back and forth about the suit, about the relationship with Bernadette, and it's just perfect scene. I really love the scene between them, even though it's not necessary for the plot. Just them joking back and forth. He puts the sunglasses on and jokes about the suit being really bright, and yeah, it's just a perfect scene. I really like it. And here we cut to Bernadette leaving the sheep in the cage, and then we got this other woman. I don't think we've seen her before, but this other police officer here seems to detect that there's some weird spiritual energy going on. So I don't know if maybe this thing is supernatural in some way, but she instantly kind of realizes there's something off about it. She's clutching. I don't know if it's kind of the herbs that we've seen before, something like that, just to get rid of the bad vibes, man. So then we get to this climactic scene in the desert where we follow the map that Chee was drawn, and we don't find the box, but instead we find a bunch of burned documents, partially burned documents, because it's very fresh, it's still hot, so the person who did this was still here, and it's not completely burned up yet, but there's something here that is very important, and that is the belt buckle worn by Joe Jr. So now we have the connection, we know what's going on, and the only nitpick in this part is like, okay, they saw that fire was still hot, and yet they didn't necessarily assume that the guy's in the area still, and they just kind of hung around. So they start to get shot at, and this is an exciting scene. I like the action scene here. But it just feels like they should have known, okay, there's somebody still here watching this. Like, this is not good, right? But, that's a nitpick at the end of the day. There's a little shootout, and I just love the scenery here, the location, just how open it is, and we got, the mountains in the background and whatnot. And then the car is exploding. He's got to break into the car. The car is locked for some reason. I don't know why the vehicle gets jammed just conveniently. I don't know if it's just because they want him to break through their window. But he's got to get the rifle from the vehicle. And Leaphorn and Chee working together was great to see. And there's an actual explosion. It's a very exciting part of the episode. And I like how it finishes. So that's it. You know, Chee is shot, but the guy got away. They really tried to shoot him. It didn't. This is a part where it didn't feel like Stormtrooper aim because you know it is hard to hit a moving target, and they show them hitting close to him. You know, there's bullet holes in the windshield and whatnot. So I don't feel like it's convenient plot armor stuff. It genuinely felt like you know real life situation. You know, it's hard to hit a moving target from that far away, like I said. So I love this shot pulling back. And then we get a really nice trailer for the rest of the season. It's looking like it's going to be a spicy season, a really hot season. And I'm excited about the rest of the show. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you want me to cover the rest of the season, I definitely will. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.